Right, okay, let's see. Mic is working, correct. Stream is stable. Sorry about that, guys. OBS needed to update, I guess, and then we had to do a bunch of stuff. Then suddenly a bunch of stuff just stopped working. I had to restart the computer and everything. Okay, let's try this again. So, current goal, finish this chapter. And I've just woken up because of that shock. So let's begin again. Right, for the time being, let's just go through the motions. Just write down the events, and I'll think of a proper way to get the prose going. Because yeah, with the whole point of like the first draft is just to get the events nice and flowing into a natural course of A to B, getting stuff to introduction, getting to the content, getting to the climax, and then the conclusion, which sets up the next chapter. Now, thing is though, this seems to be like I plan to do this as like a double feature because this is going to be a raid on Pietro. So as it stands now, this is going to be me introducing Pietro's background story. But I need to check some certain details. Let me just check a few things here. Just get a new thing. Don't worry about versus. I need to actually go back to this. I do like it. It does read quite well. There. Okay. So what did I actually say so far? So that's someone's big bang or unthinkables happened. But to say look through the data the last few days. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he was about to go into his background story, but he didn't go into it. Hmm. Okay. All caught up. So now I can go into it if I really want to, but it's not really relevant because as it stands now, Pietro is just a guy. He's just like an antagonist for this chapter only. Would it be really worthwhile to give him a proper background? Yes, I think maybe. I don't know, but I need to like the whole point of this is like I want to demonstrate how criminal elements could go into the city. So if Pietro was like a bandit king, he'd naturally bring his underlings with him to the city, right? They wouldn't have his pardons. They wouldn't have his like sort of diplomatic immunity position, but through his influence and umbrella, he would have the protection of the nobility. And occasionally he'd get his underlings arrested for doing crimes. But he would be fine, and his operation would not be affected. And generally speaking, people who go into crime are generally in a position to not really refuse that position because doing things legit doesn't tend to lend itself to a very good way of living, or because they're criminals, they're barred from normal means of living. But we'll think about that later. Let's just set the scene now. It's big privacy in the third part, yeah. I wanted to pause it, use a comment, prompt, purposeful pace, but I'll just put an and here. Prompt, purposeful pace, and walked in. People wanting to know. Turn ahead of every person in the room. I knew in the cloak. Now, how do I say this without saying beak-like? So, what I'm trying to describe right now is the mockingbird field uniform or the field cloak, basically the uniform that everyone wears, where you can be recognized as a mockingbird, but literally anybody can wear it. Because the whole point is, when you're a mockingbird, you can be literally anybody, and you can hide your identity behind that cloak, and any one of those people could be Suzaku of Vermilion. But in this case, it is Suzaku. But he just looks like any mockingbird when he wears the field cloak, because it's just the standard uniform where you're not where unlike lots of military uniforms, you have your ranks clearly shown. You can see a sergeant, you can see a corporal, you can see a major very clearly. But when you're in the Mockingbirds, there's no such discernible details you can see, or any you can see is hidden by the cloak. But the main thing is it's supposed to look like the cloak is meant to be patterned after a mockingbird with the hood extending out to look like a beak. I'm not sure whether I should actually have add the details on the hood where you can actually see eyes on it. I'm just thinking maybe like a slit. This denote eyes, but not actually eyes. Like his face was hidden, but stand over his face. Upper part of his face. His face was hidden by a hood that would extend over. Stand over his nose. His face was kept hidden by a hood that would extend over his nose. His face was kept hidden by a hood that would extend over his nose. less seen and more. It's one of those because yeah, you want to be wearing a hood and you want to hide your face, so you want to hide your features, so you want a hood that does that. But you want to also be able to see because you're a person that monitors people, but you don't want to be showing that you are able to see them. So as such, when you wear the hood, you can't actually see faces into it because of the shadow it casts. But I think I did that well enough. I can do that later. I can keep moving on. Cloaks itself after all. A brooch denoting the royal heraldry, or should I say heraldry or symbol or emblem? I think emblem would be better. Royal emblem. I had originally thought of the unit insignia instead, so the mockingbird insignia, but that might be a little on the nose. Because yeah, when you want someone of authority, you want someone wearing a symbol of authority. Not everyone would know what a mockingbird is, but most people would recognize the royal emblem when someone is wearing it. And obviously, when you catch someone who does not have royal authority wearing the symbol of the royal family, that's fraud. So generally, people don't do that unless they are the real deal. Or they want to pretend that they're the real deal, but eventually they'll get in trouble and get caught very quickly. At least that's what I'm trying to imply here. But I don't want to say that. So the cloak self wrapped around its body. Shaped like two wings. I'll have to be a little on the nose with this. Yeah. So basically, the main point of the cloak is so not only to hide your identity, but to also when in a combat situation, it's supposed to hide your body shape. So when you're being shot at, there's a chance the person will miss because they can't actually discern the details of where your vitals are. Also, you can keep a whole bunch of stuff hidden under that cloak. Hid the shape of the upper body. The shape of the upper body. kept the lower bound exposed. I feel like I have to explain that. Kept the lower exposed for ease of movement because yeah, most of the stuff you're gonna keep will need to be within arm's reach. So anything below the knee doesn't need to be kept hidden. Also, for practical terms, it has to be poncho like because you don't want draft, any draft or drag or or chafing to to screw with your movements. Because the whole point of the unit is dexterity and speed. Like they want to be getting in and out really quickly, and when they're in open combat, that's never that's never a good thing because you want to be fleeing at all times. So whenever you do, you don't want to be traced back when you finally escape. Like that's the whole that's my rationale with this field cloak. A field cloak. A field cloak, close to home. Where a field close, so close to home, it would get chimed. Answered why, given the unwelcome guest. Okay, after Jim wearing the field cloak and close to home, Nathaniel chimed in, but he understood why, given the unwelcome guest. You'd naturally look at Gerard there. Hmm. Positioned himself as unimpressed because the whole point of the cloak, the hiding the face, the whole uniform look is to make you look like imposing and authoritative. So when you see a mockingbird, you're supposed to be like, oh shit, the royal family has eyes on me. I could be in trouble at any time if I don't play my card right. Looked on at the figure and positioned himself as unimpressed. So basically, like, position is the key word here because he's like deciding how to behave around that person, and he's decided, yeah, you can't do shit against me. Looked on the figure and positioned himself as unimpressed. Yes. You thought I got something to say. So yeah, Elysium is like fantasy meets sci-fi kind of setting. It's it's going to have it's going to have like conveniences of technology and stuff. So in this instance, it's going to be very normal to just put in a portable projector, and it's going to be a hard light display that you can interact with, as you can actually feel like haptic feedback on touching it because it's hard light. It's not just um, it's not just a hologram. It is a hard light. It is something you can touch and you can see. And it's projected. It's done via projector. Okay, so with need no comment, simply put a portable projector. So it's gonna. I want to present technology as like a simple matter of fact. It's like, yeah, just put a project. Just I'm just going to put a projector here, and then I gotta do my work. It's just like putting down a laptop, opening it up, and then tappity tappity tap. It's that kind of thing. So it's that I'm trying to go for that kind of benign vibe when it comes to technology like this, because it's normal in Elysium. No comment. Simply put a portable projector in a bar with a prompt with a gesture. I think gesture. Just a device act. No boundaries. What's the guy's name again? Pietro something, wasn't it? Let me just have a look. Ankylo. And for those who don't know, Ankylosaurus. So I just went in the Discord. So they told people pick a dinosaur, and they just went okay, Ankylo, Ankylosaurus. Pietro's Ankylo. Highlighted. Pietro Ankylo. So yeah, this is one of those processes I had for the previous chapter, but I thought I'll move it on to the next chapter because yeah, the plot was moving a little slower than I expect. In fact, I might actually slow this down even more because this whole chapter might just be dealing with Pietro and not going to the next phase. So his bounty was decommissioned recently too. Suspiciously low would be rather strange for a bounty to be coming after a decommission. By two things. The bounty was cashed in or the bounty was given a crown's pardon. But that came with its own implications, especially if that pardon was given on the Queen's behalf, instead of an appointed servant. So clearly he's still after this bounty because he never cashed it in. So you can denote it's the opposite. As such, you can naturally put in the dialogue. Question went to decommissioned, blah, 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 but that came with its own implication, especially. Parself decommissioned. However, yeah. Perhaps that could be persecuted. The complicated. That was authorized. Okay. And then I have to explain. What the main thing I'm trying to do here is like, usually when you have a dialogue piece, you say, a piece of dialogue is said, and then you say who says it, right? What I'm trying to do, trying to do with my prose is, I'm trying to say a piece of dialogue, but you already know who is actually speaking, so I don't have to explain. So I don't have to keep saying thing he said, Lilith said, Lilith said. Like I want to keep it natural. Normally, a noble would require their seal to record their use of their limited royal authority. A pardon without a seal implies it's a direct pardon given by Her Majesty given. Well, seal is already on the document, which is a serious case of fraud. Punishable by death, as it counts as usurping royal authority where he presumed to be the monarch of the realm. Like a real technicality. Because, like, yeah, nobles can use their royal authority. They can use their powers given unto them by the crown, but it has to have their seal on it to denote that they did do that. But this would be like a common exploit. This is one of those things where if you try to do this, try to palm yourself off as, because so nobles are the only people who are able to get these pardons. And it's even harder for a noble to get a blank pardon, which is like one without their seal on them, because they're only given like a copy of their own seal. So for someone to get a blank seal, a blank pardon like this, implies they have connections with the capital, which makes sense because they're in the noble central district. but I need to communicate this somehow. But by the it's normally normally not possible to possess these. So what I'm trying to imply here is like there's a head up display, and while he's trying to explain all this, he's showing all of the details of all this stuff. So it shows where the seal would be. It shows the copy of a pardon, or basically he's found the actual copy of the pardon, and he's showing what it is, what is happening to that thing, and shows the strange characteristics of it. So I need to really flex the hard light here. The job over false pardons can be complicated, so it's probably not possible to possess these as nobles get their copies with their seals already on there. Normally not possible to possess these as nobles get their copies with seal on there. Let's go with their seals on there. So what we're going to do, sometimes access the blank apply implies someone high position high. Someone positioned highly. Implies someone positioned highly. I don't want this to be run on implies someone positioned highly. Okay, it's not normally positioned highly. It has to be capitalized. The crown. I won't say anything. Okay. I feel like Gerard would have to reply here. Not the word. Actually, yeah. Let's give this a little bit of characterization here. Mum's the word. So Gerard felt a nudge on his sides. Not a word. Not a word. So in this context, I want Suzaku to be very formal because he's been in the Royal Court too very often. As such, he's very used to using formal speech. Meanwhile, Nathaniel is more like a field agent who's often out there with the soldiers and the people and supplying them. As such, because his because Suzaku is in the Royal Court often, he'll often put an affectation of nobility, even though he is not really a noble. Because of your conduct last few days of troublemaking, Mr. Man, because of you. About is an act. There'd be no act about it after they try to work on. Hmm. So basically, yeah, these guys got a lot of these guys, these criminals were old badlanders. They have active bounties on them. They got cashed in. They got imprisoned. Maybe served their sentence. Maybe they got jailbroke. Maybe they got bail or something. Maybe they got bought out of the jail. Because as is often the case, I want to set up the precedent where you can sort of buy yourself out of prison because the resources are very thin in jail. So you can't really imprison people indefinitely or for life because that's a massive drain on resources. So if a person is rich enough, they can be bought out. I think that's what I want to do. Okay. There'd be no active boundaries that would. Try to find work upon working on. Sentence. Jail time was. Okay, that might be an issue. Extreme violence, maybe. Okay. So now, okay, now I've set up a system where you can't jail someone. You either sentence someone to death or you give them a hefty fine because it's just jail time is just too expensive on the state. Because of your conduct the last few days of troublemaking. The last few days of troublemaking, I've been able to get some few choice words out of a few bad people. troublemaking, comma, I've been able to mention, the display shifted back the bounty record and highlighted there were several claimed bounties, meaning there are no active bounty hunters. They've tried to find work upon living out. A sad reality, sadly. Well, the alternative was death. It looks like, well, after having interrogated some of the street level. Right. The master drain resource. GG. I'm going for the with an omniscient third person perspective here. I'd rather want to do it with Nathaniel's POV, and he could like recognize or intuit these details. But right now, I just want to get the details down, just to keep things streamlined. Ah, and keep things flowing. So these are Pietro's men. There you go. There you go. Okay, yeah, I can see the spoilers here already. So I did warn you, immediate spoilers, because like yeah, I'm plan these steps a few steps ahead. Long time as a front, but it's created a network of low-level criminals. Counts claimed injuries, gambling rings. Well, the kind of general scams for low-level stuff. They're selling illicit drugs. Usually, yeah, there's usually gambling, selling illicit substances, black markets. But I'm thinking things that would make people want to borrow money. Claim that you about your recompense. Threats of violence and coercion. But generally, yeah, that's how I want. That's how they get the customers. They just literally grab people. So I just want to make the scenario where they try to grab people, bring them to the office, let them sign on the dotted line, and then they have them forever. Use scams, collected injuries, and recompense gambling rates, often with threats of violence and coercion. Usual bit. Yeah, let's try that one. Great. Well, We need you to. Okay. So, there's no bounty as far as the law knows. Hmm. Currents of criminal activity. I feel like this should connect to here because he's going to keep speaking. I'm just thinking about this jail time thing here. Because, like, yeah, if I did this, if I made everything, like, most punishments can be done via the crime or the alternative. So you either have jail time, death sentence, or a massive fine. This would justify the bounty system. This is how the bounty system is formed. That makes logical sense, right? Okay. And I want these aspects to be very mundane and banal. It's like, okay, yeah, no, of course. He did a crime. He owes a bunch of money to the state. As such, because he ran away, there's a bounty on him, so that when you capture him, you gain his you gain a portion of the money he owes as a reward, and he has to pay for those crimes once he's captured. Or in this case, or in the case of bounties that are sentenced to death, he managed to escape execution, but the amount of his but the amount he would pay for his life is now the bounty reward for his execution, or at least like a portion of it. I think honestly. because the whole point is that it's going to be a huge amount of money, like hefty too hefty fine too rich for even most nobles. I think it would be more like a portion of that, like a fraction, like a 10%. Because yeah, just a straight up amount, the actual amount of money that would run a friggin' economy. No, 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 don't let's not do that. That would be unfeasible as a system. Red Hat can charge him. We can activate his bounty. I'm not doing that. Let's try glare. More glare. Glared at him. Yeah, more like it. I feel like putting some kind of like Britishism there. Like we'll have a bit of a chin wag. We'll have a you know we'll have a chat, and we'll just have a nice chat. But because of the meme, I just want to ask him questions. Tell us the price, and we'll just ask him some questions. which was not happening because these two people, Nathaniel and Suzaku, are not the militant part of the mercenary guild. That's the other people. As such, they do have some combat abilities, but they're not able to take on adventurers, nor they are nor are they able to take on bounty hunters who are on the same level, who are capable of taking on corruption beasts, which are massive, strong, inhumanly strong creatures. Meanwhile, by human standards, Nathaniel and Suzaku can take on any normal human being, no problem. But anything that can basically explode you into a red mist just by the sheer power of their blows, yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not going to stop Gerard. Okay, Gerard for murder. One thing missing here is the projector itself shouldn't have any like storage devices on there. It shouldn't have like a hard drive. It's just an interface. So what I'm missing here is like some kind of like, because what I wanted with the desk at the start of chapter 1, like he used a series of NFC cards to like bring up a bunch of records and stuff. What I'm thinking is like basically those are being used like flash drives. So I want him to bring up like a deck of cards, and then he still sort of scans it into the projection device, and then it comes up. So I think I'll go back. That diagram project. I think I'll go back a bit. Okay. Let's go back and just rehash. Bring a clock. Bring the I'll set here. There you go. So I've established that tech. So you have your little projector. It's an inert piece of technology that does nothing unless it detects some kind of NFC chip, and it goes beep, and then it brings up the hard light, brings up the data within the NFC, and then shows it in a hard light display. Okay, because it's not hard light. It's not hard light. It's a hard light, not a hologram. You can interact with it. How long have we been at it right now? We have been at it for 1 hour. Now, yeah, usually I write in small bursts like this and just like finish that scene. We're done. Go. So now we have to work through with what I have left. Don't need that. So now he's back on his office. To report feeds. Tips of the loading bill was already in the know. Nah, I don't need that. But that's I wanted that detail because like you don't want to keep actual physical records of all the information, but that's stupid. You have to keep records because that's how we found the bounty system, and that's how we found like the traces of the pardon and everything like that. Everything needs to be recorded. So do that. So this is like one of the face. This is one of the techniques I wanted to try. Is like I'd go into exposition to denote time passing by. Regulatory under threat of. Okay, under threat of the rage right of repulse manifest attack. Bandits bandit camp dismantle this. Okay, I'm getting a vision here. I'm thinking this detail comes into play as Gerard is raiding the place. It's operation. So basically, I'm thinking in terms of like this is Gerard's perspective. This operation was more of the same. Yeah, so I want this scene to be like the raid isn't just a full-on action scene; it's Gerard reminiscing about the past. So interspersed between the actual events of happening in real time, let's just have little bits of information dumped here to give it better context. Right, this was a Joe find himself in the camp. So logically, I should really be more detailed here. Hmm. It's like, yeah, these are my notes. Elgon's pointing at him. Tango goes there. Ugh. Box of bullets. I don't want to say like rubber bullets. Concussive. Render a man unconscious. This feels like a run-on sentence. Gerard may not attempt to take them, comma, and took no time to reload. It took guard up close and breathing. Okay, okay. Okay. So what I want to imply here is Gerard is lethal. He is strong enough to take on a corruption beast. As such, when someone gets smashed into a wall and when he punches a freaking door, things just fly off the hinges and everything. Like, I want to keep the ambiguity that maybe everyone that got smacked around here is a dead man. Because he is strong enough to completely crush everyone here. He can probably just grab someone's head and squish it until it becomes unrecognizable as he crushes the skull. And I want to denote the sheer force of it because each blow shakes the building. So he's doing damage, but is it enough to kill people? Who knows? I might save this for another chapter. Vice like a friend and crush and whip time. No, I don't need that scene. Bruh, let me delete. Right, this is the bit where I want to get to. I'll put this away somewhere else later for later use. Prepare to expressly at each blow, trick the building with each. Upon inspection. Upon inspection, the presence of blood was not apparent. Combat shoot. Combat shooting. Technology. Actually, like reactive. Yeah, this is basically my way of saying like there's going to be violence in this story, but there might not be actual gruesome deaths. There might not be actual gore because I have this mechanic here. You have something called combat shielding. As you can see, it's like an emergency measure where anything pierces through like a bullet. If let's just say Gerard shoots somebody, and that bullet pierces right through the hard lighting, the teleporter will activate just as the bullet might hit the target. It might dig deep into it, but it won't go all the way because by the time it does, the person's already teleported away. So, at, in the worst case scenario, the person won't die, but they'll have a deep wound that could still render them be saved. Like let's say if Gerard shoots someone in the heart, the hard light the hard light layer would be pierced, and in that instance the teleportation would activate, and before it hits the heart, the person's gone. But there will be a wound right in front of the heart before it got hit. So what I'm trying to imply here is it's like, okay, Gerard's rampaging, but he might have noticed, like when he shot the first guy. Let me just explain it here. Okay, off the link to nearby facility. This would be a natural way to have another paragraph. Increase survivability of Avengers. They would be instantly sent off to the front lines. Off the front lines. Not off to the front lines, it's off the front lines. But this is a long sentence. Survivability of Avengers would likely send. The Avengers, as they would be sent off to Midria, would land them in death for the teleportation cost alone, but the priority was survival. So long as they were alive, they could work off the dead. I noticed as it would naturally be invisible to the eye. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. Report to the radio, demonstrate to be vacant. Right. So basically, here I'm implying everybody in the office has this is fully kitted out. These are soldiers straight up, despite not wearing a uniform. But I'm trying to think of like how am I gonna make this flow into an actual event. I made an attempt to take them to be reloaded. Yeah, combat shielding, prepare protect. God damn it. It's my mouse. My mouse being screwy. Done that. Teleportation within existing attack. Yep. It's simpler or rapidly move. Okay. So teleportation is in 16 type because of the nature of the digital world. Basically, how you transfer files and stuff within a hard drive, it's the same principle here. You can teleport within the digital realm because it's digital and not physical. That's why teleportation is a tech here, but it's expensive. Right. More the same, but more. Okay, here I need to properly set the scene. Pleasure quarter of the nobles district. Within the pleasure quarter, that was enough epidemic. Oh, Okay, so now that makes sense. And also, I want to make this implication. So this area used to be a military outpost. So where you get lots of soldiers to hang around. Naturally, soldiers love prostitutes. So naturally, this area slowly built up over time into a pleasure district. But eventually the military outpost was decommissioned, but the quarter remains. And still nearby, though a little further, a little closer to the palace, like there's a bit of travel time, still close by is the barracks, which is even bigger than this initial military outpost. As such, this area thrives with business because not only it has like a noble patronage, but it also has the soldiers nearby. Okay, yeah, that's done. Combat shielding, validity. If I learn of the compass, Christmas research, someone very wealthy could afford to have these men with such expensive equipment. Now, what I wanted to do is like they have the combat shielding, but I wanted the teleporters taken out. But we'll just keep it as this. Keep it as is. Like we'll just say instead Gerard cleverly intuited that they have combat shielding and he knows a way to use that to fight them without activating the teleporter because he's used to dealing with bounties like this. So people with combat shielding, yeah, sure, just crush them across the ground, knock them unconscious, don't without breaking the shield. Basically, like put them in a little glass bottle or some kind of container and smash them in the container while without breaking the container. Then don't allow they can wipe off the debt. I guess I have to explain it. comma here. Okay, save the game. Getting there, but I still need to think of a way to. I think I should really stop here. I'll think of. Because I need to think about the final encounter. So basically, it's after Pietro. He has some kind of vendetta. How about. How about it was never about the bounty? It's more the fact that Pietro owed him money and then he ran off. He ran away. The bounty was just a pretense. Okay, let me try this. Like, okay, now this makes sense. Because, like, yeah, instead of waiting around to get his bounty to be commissioned again, he just wants to go in and just get his money. As such, he didn't. This is why he didn't want to go over the plan. Okay. Hmm. Okay, now I need Pietro. What would be his motivation? What would be his combat techniques? Ankylosaur would be like a club, right? Let me just check something. Yeah, it's he's an armored. Okay, he would be like an armored knight. Struggles to pierce its armor off. Okay. So here's what we'll do. Okay, I think I got it. Mm. I just literally made this up. Okay, this makes sense. But that would make sense, right? You have a technology that just pierces through that, and then there's with a proxim with an NFC chip, it detects the new coordinates and rewrites whatever's there, and then sends them into does an override command that sends them straight into jail instead of the intended medical facility they would normally go. Because the whole point of the bullet is not to pierce through the target's armor or anything. It's just meant to pierce through the hard light and then activate the teleporter. Okay, I think I'm perfectly happy with this state. I'll do a write up and punch it up, but okay, I need to close it off actually. Okay. I hate the fact that this whole thing freaking saves and then just stops me dead. Like, I let me delete. Christ. Delete. Delete. Oh my god. I just do it the hard way. There you go. Right. Guys, look in upon VHS the Edelweiss. Basically, like, this is a combination of Ethel and Red, which would be later translated to Alfred. I wonder, does Ethel mean like elfin? But this is basically me going Ethel, like the Saxon name Athelred, and picked a different name, Athelweiss or Athelwhite, and added a German name. I think it works. This is not has nothing to do with Athelstan. This is like, it's an old Saxon word. He didn't make that. Like Lord Athelstan did not make that. I will clarify that. The computer. And this I need to keep for later, for another, because of the massive operation that's going to happen afterwards. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm fairly happy with this, guys. It's not a bad thing, but I need to come back to it being a little more inspired. Come back with a little more detail and much better prose. But I got the basic beats down. And then I just need to do this combat. Okay, I think I'm happy with this, guys. Oh. So I will end it here. And then I'll be doing a post-mortem for the previous chapter later. But hey, I'm fairly happy with this. Until next time, guys. Hopefully, that's kind of productive. I thought it'd be really awkward to be in this position. But yeah, I need to do some clean up, and I'll see you guys later. But yeah, be warned. I already told you what's gonna happen next, like the basic beats and everything. I might do this again because this is quite productive.